Hey y'all, I'm Joshua Williams with Dead Drift Flies. Today I wanted to show you how to tie a zebra midge. So we'll go over the materials. It's going to be a purple one, so as far as thread we're using 8/0 purple, obviously. I like to throw a little bit of dubbing on it, so I use this purple, and it's kind of like got a translucent color to it so that it shimmers in the sun a little better. For the ribbing I'm using extra small fine tinsel. The hook that I'm going to use is an emerger style hook, and for this one I'm going to tie a size 18, and as far as a bead head for that, you're going to use a 5/64 if you're tying, like say a size 18, and adjust as you need to. To kind of bulletproof the fly, we're going to use some Hydro Clear Cure goo, which is very, very hard to say really fast. And then obviously your UV light that's going to actually cure it when you're done. So if y'all are ready, we'll get right into it. Okay, so as far as tying the fly, the first thing you need to do is run the hook through the bead, and with these bead heads they're countersunk, so you always want to run the hook through the small hole first. And I use these hackle pliers. I got fat stubby little fingers, and the method that I do to actually run the hook through the bead, it helps me to hold them in the hackle pliers like this, and I'll just bring the bead to the edge of the table, and that way I can put this nice little angle on it, kind of help it run right through there. And then once that's done, you can take it, and I got this little patch here for my smaller flies, and it helps me kind of set them up. So I'll get it on like that, and then I'll take the vice jaw off and just hook it right on there. And then once that's done, you're ready to start your thread base. Like I said, we're going with the purple here on this one today, so I'm going to be using purple thread. Once you get your thread base started and it's good enough that it can kind of sit on itself, after you start winding it back towards itself, you can get this tag end out and pull it up and cut it off. And you're ready to continue your wraps back. Normally I stop right at the edge of usually right at about where the point of the hook starts, but for my zebra midges, I like them to have a longer curved body, so I bring them past that curve a little ways, and then run your thread back up. Now as far as like when I'm cutting like wire and lead wire and tinsel and all that stuff, I've got two different pair of scissors. This pair of scissors is for cutting stuff like that's gonna dull the blade up quicker, and these scissors are for more like the intricate stuff, like if I'm making an elk hair caddis or something, and I want a nice clean symmetrical cut across all of them so that it looks nice, I'll use these instead. So for these for this wire, I'll use the rougher scissors, and I guess a normal person with two arms is going to have the thread in one hand and then take the materials like this wire with the other hand and wrap it in there. But for me, I've got to use one hand to do that. So just, do it your way, but this is how I'm going to do it. So once you get a couple wraps on there, you can kind of pull that extra part over there, and that saves you having to cut it again if you do it right. Okay, and just wind it back to right before the end of your run with your thread, and then once you got it all wound back there, bring it back towards the head, the thread back towards the head, and just cover up all that. Make sure all the wire that you just threw down is covered up. And when you're happy with that, you can take your wire and get your hackle pliers and hook it onto there and start wrapping your wire. Now make sure that when you do this, that all your wraps are the same gap length, and that just makes it look like a more natural, true segmented body. You don't want like some of them really short and some of them really wide. So when you're done with that, throw a couple wraps around it with your thread, and take your scissors and cut it as close as you can, and wrap it a few times around that. And now you're ready to throw your clear cure goo, and sometimes it helps if you try to say it really fast while you're pouring it. Clear goo. Alright, and if you get a little too much on there, you can just kind of wipe it off like that with your hand. You take your UV light, and that just cures it, so you don't have to go out into the sun and hold it up in the air. And after a few seconds there, it's good and it's bulletproof. Then you're going to take your dubbing, and sometimes, like when if you're building up a body, you'll put a little bit of wax on your dubbing. I don't like to do that for some of my flies, like these zebra midges. I want that dubbing to kind of be on there loosely so that it gives almost like a wiry, buggy look. I just think it looks better that way. So when you're done with that, you can take your whip finishing tool and finish the fly off. Alright. Take your scissors and cut the thread off, and you're done. So that's it. It's a really, really simple fly, but it's very effective, especially in your tail waters. I like to use it as a dropper a lot behind a dry fly. Seems to do well with that, especially in the colder months. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at mail@deaddriftflies.com, and check out our website. And got a blog up there now, and so you can see videos. I'm gonna keep doing this hopefully, and do some other cool stories that you might find interesting. So check it out. All right, thanks.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Regal Vice, manufacturers of the world's best fly tying vices and accessories, and Hairline Dubbin, our go-to brand for fly tying materials.